Hi guys, we're back again today, but so is my cold. Given that there is a new Addams Family movie, we're going to be ranking all 5 of them from the worst to the best. Before we get into it though, please let me know what yours is down below. But yeah, let's get right into this then. Easily by far coming in at 5th and last place is Addams Family Reunion. Like, this isn't even a contest in this sense. This was so painful to sit through. I hated myself after watching it. It is clear from the very start that we're dealing with a lot of goofiness, so you know it's aimed at a younger target audience than the 2 that came before it. I can't even see kids enjoying this film. As it is a direct-to-video sequel, expectations were low, but they managed to surprise me with how awful of a film this is. Everything just looks cheap, and the majority of the characters are very, very hard to watch on screen. It's just like, whatever they do, it just makes you hate yourself, this film, is what I'm trying to say. Despite it being direct-to-video, it attempts to use more CGI than its predecessors, and as you know, with those direct-to-video movies, they're not going to have a huge budget, so everything just looks awful. This film aims to entertain kids, but it can't even do that, and that's why it's easily in last place, because I absolutely hated it. Coming in at 4th place is The Addams Family 2, this being the reason why I'm making this video, the newly released one. Although not as bad as Addams Family Reunion, I still didn't like this film. Brings up more tonal inconsistencies, which we'll talk about in a bit, from its predecessor, Addams Family from 2019, by doubling down on the goofier aspects as well as the dark ones. So it continues to be really hard to know who this is for, because it contains many fart jokes which someone of my age or older won't enjoy, won't find amusing. But then it shows quite dark things which kids may find frightening or they won't enjoy too much. Whether those darker aspects are literal violence, which I'm sure is fine, but me watching as a young adult, seeing Snoop Dogg voice a character and then having a hotbox sequence in a kid's film seems very odd to me. And having Snoop Dogg in this film, as well as the one that came before it, even though his voice isn't recognizable and it has many of his songs and it has obviously the reference to hotboxing, it just feels really odd because no one's going to know who Snoop Dogg is at that age. And if they do, they're not going to know why he's famous. By taking the Addams Family out of their familiar environment, this film really does fail to do anything about it and make something new. Instead, it brings in quite an awkward plotline, especially for a supposed kids film, and besides that main plotline, giving plotlines to side characters where it really unevenly balances them, where sometimes something could be the main focus for a while and then not get any attention for half an hour until it eventually comes back at the end. I wasn't excited for this and I didn't have any expectations for it, but it still amazed me how this film was made, because it just doesn't feel like a kid's film. But then again, it doesn't feel like something for adults. Coming in at 3rd place is The Addams Family 2019. I mentioned this one in the previous film I talked about the tonal inconsistencies and not knowing who the target audience is for. Well, that does apply to this film. It's not as bad as it is in that film, as there are more things that are suitable for kids here. However, that's by no means saying it's a good film. It's still very disappointing, as bringing the Addams Family into animation offers up a lot of potential for what you can do with their wackiness. And the main plotline just isn't compelling enough. It brings in cliche elements into something that just seems so dumb. And I know you can say, oh, it's dumb because, you know, it's for kids. I can imagine 10-year-old me not enjoying this one too much either. On a more positive note, all the cast give it their all, and as it is a good cast, they're more enjoyable to watch on screen. A lot of the dialogue, they have some funny jokes with the ongoing themes of Addams Family. Overall, just the plot really lets this film down, and the fact that it doesn't know what audience it is targeting. Coming in at 2nd place is Addams Family Values. Whilst this one still maintains the same tone as the first one, which we'll talk about in a second, it's overall a solid follow-up to that film, but in this case it contains more issues. Where the film that we're going to talk about next has just one plot line which we follow, this one has several and contained all the unique aspects of these characters along the way. And by doing that, sometimes it felt like it was forcing in those quirky aspects of these characters into their plot lines, which at points made it quite a messy film to follow. There is still fun, of course, in this film. It's enjoyable to see the Addams Family in new environments, especially Wednesday Addams, who is perhaps the most amusing part of this film. Addams Family Values still has all the fun from its predecessor, However, it's just a little bit more messier and the plot isn't as strong. However, it's still a very enjoyable film, especially for the younger audiences. But easily coming in at first place is the original The Addams Family. This film certainly offers up a unique experience. I remember liking it when I was younger, and before I rewatched it I was like, oh, maybe now that I've gone older I won't enjoy it as much, but if anything, I enjoyed it more. It touches upon a lot of dark things, but does it in a way which makes these characters likable, and it's never too haunting or just something you wouldn't want your kids to hear. The humour uses its dark environment for some clever and smart jokes which always deliver. Despite the majority of this film taking place in the Addams' estate, its pace is consistently high and it doesn't really slow down ever throughout the whole film. The plot isn't necessarily something you see every day, but even if it was, the Addams Family has such a unique take on it with its environment, its characters, that this one instantly stands out upon the rest. All actors and actresses go for it and give it their all, making it super amusing whenever anyone's on screen. It's wacky, it's weird, but it's hard not to like this film. Thank you so much for watching this video. Once again, I apologise that the quality of my enthusiasm is not what it usually is. I'm ill at the moment, but I've got a busy schedule, so I gotta keep on top of it. But yeah, as I mentioned, let me know what yours is down below. I'm interested to see. This one, I feel like is going to be the one which a lot of people have, because there is quite a bit of a quality gap between each film. But I had no doubt in my mind when I saw Addams Family Reunion that was one of the worst films I've ever seen. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next one.